granola. And I grew up, in the 90s, my mom was very health conscious. And so we thought granola was really healthy. And it was all the buzz. Everybody was doing granola. In fact, they even, if you're health conscious today, they'll call you, like a crunchy or a granola. They'll call you a granola mom, right? If you're into taking good care of your kids, because it's got this connotation with being healthy. But I looked up the amount of net carbohydrates. If you go to Google or, your search engine, you type in how many net carbohydrates in a cup of granola, one of the common homemade recipes that's out there, right? So that you'll find a whole bunch of different ranging ideas, and it depends on what they make it with. But one of the most common recipes for making homemade granola utilizes oats. It utilizes like 2 cups of brown sugar in there, something like that. It's got honey in there. It's got a little bit of walnuts, cinnamon. Cinnamon actually is good. It helps with improving insulin sensitivity. But basically, it's mostly high carbohydrate, high glycemic foods. And I found that 1 cup of this homemade granola had 76 grams of net carbs and over 30 grams of sugar in it. 1 cup. That's high glycemia. I mean, that's going to impact your blood sugar, cause a major blood sugar spike, followed by a big drop of insulin into your bloodstream. That insulin increases oxidative stress, it increases inflammation, increases fat storage, and then drives down the blood sugar. And a few hours later, you're going to have low blood sugar and you're not going to feel good. You're going to have brain fog. You might be hungry. You might have cravings. You might feel nauseous. Some people, they feel nauseous. They feel irritable. They get the hangry type of feeling. That's what you're going to get when you consume granola like that. Now, is it possible to make granola by changing the recipe and making it less glycemic, less inflammatory? Absolutely it is. What would I do? I don't personally do this, but if I did, what would I put in there? I would put, nuts. I would put some walnuts or almonds, cashews, something along those lines. I put coconut flakes in there so you get the healthy fats there. I put cinnamon. I may, if I want like more flavor with it, I might put like some stevia drops, which is an all-natural sweetener that can add in a little bit of sweetness. So you can do that. I would put cranberries in there, like dried cranberries. Cranberries are much lower in sugar, and they're actually more nutrient dense, very rich in vitamin C, quercetin, which is a powerful antioxidant. The kind of tartness of the cranberry is actually something called ellagic acid, which is really good for your gut microbiome. So that can be really helpful. So if you're gonna get dried cranberries, though, don't get them with added sugar, right? So some dried cranberries are out there that are marketed, actually add sugar to the cranberries to make it more palatable. Again, avoid those. Get ones without the added sugar, and you can kind of add those in there. Any sort of dried fruit typically is like a concentrated form of sugar. Make sure there's no added sugar if you're gonna add any sort of dried fruit to something. You can get dried blueberries, raisins, things like that. But remember, it's gonna have more sugar with it. So don't load it up with that. Only put a small amount, and always make sure you're getting it without the added sugar. And that's a really good idea. So you can do that. You can even put some like dark chocolate in there, some dark unsweetened chocolate that you can put in there, or let's say like 80% dark chocolate. Obviously, the lower the percentage of chocolate, the more sugar they add. So if you're getting it, 70% chocolate, 60%, you're gonna notice that there's more and more sugar being added to that chocolate bar or chocolate chips or whatever you're getting. You can also find some chocolate chips that are sweetened with things like erythritol and stevia. Now, some people don't do well with erythritol, but it doesn't spike your blood sugar. Research has shown that it actually helps to balance your blood sugar and doesn't spike your insulin. The issue with erythritol is that for some people it gives them a lot of gas and bloating. So as long as you're able to tolerate erythritol, you can find chocolate that's erythritol sweetened. And a lot of times you're using a combination of stevia or monk fruit with erythritol. And that's gonna be more blood sugar balancing. You're not gonna get the blood sugar spike, the insulin spike when you consume that. The caveat there again is any sort of sugar alcohol, if you have a sensitive gut, you may notice more gas, more bloating, more kind of gastrointestinal discomfort. So you have to understand if you're able to tolerate it, and then what threshold you're able to tolerate, like how much you can tolerate so you don't get the unwanted symptoms in your gut. So I think that's really the biggest key there. So if you want to do a granola, it can be done, and you can make it with healthier ingredients that are lower in sugar, more blood sugar stabilizing, more insulin friendly. And I would recommend doing that if that's something you really love and enjoy. And so that's really the good news.